1789 dawned with victory hollow. Debt lingered, confidence thin, markets restless. Independence survived battles, not balance sheets. Stability vanished quietly, demanding solutions before freedom itself eroded beyond repair nationwide urgently. Washington's government inherited disorder. Treasury lacked structure, revenue uncertain, credit scarce. Without action, stagnation or dependence loomed, turning peace into paralysis and leaving the republic exposed to foreign pressure abroad. Economic crises force innovation. Leaders learned wealth must be organized, not wished. History showed nations mastering finance endured, while those ignoring systems faded, weakened, and forgotten by rivals eventually everywhere. Debate shifted sharply. Danger lay not in reform, but delay. Stability required systems beyond individuals. Rules for money, managed debt, visible institutions restoring confidence and collective direction nationwide enduring order. Crisis created urgency without collapse. Weakness suffocated quietly, unseen. Each passing month eroded trust, narrowing choices, forcing Americans to confront survival through structure rather than slogans alone anymore collectively now. Thus independence faced its hardest test, building financial order without betraying liberty. The Republic's future depended on choices made before decay became irreversible under global pressure and historical scrutiny ahead. Amid uncertainty, Alexander Hamilton emerged, believing survival required credibility. Debt, feared by many, appeared to him a binding force capable of uniting interests and securing the Republic financially politically durably. Hamilton proposed assuming state debts, funding them fully, creating national credit. The plan shocked citizens, angered states, and rewarded speculators, igniting fierce opposition across the young Union publicly loudly nationwide. Critics saw betrayal. Supporters saw survival. Hamilton argued trust was wealth, honoring debts would attract investment, revive credit, and prove America reliable to the world financially, diplomatically, credibly, consistently long-term. Power carried risk. Central authority might grow, elites gain influence. Yet Hamilton warned weakness invited collapse, disorder, and foreign dominance far more dangerous than structured strength under competitive conditions globally. Finance became politics. Design of money turned ideological battlefield. The Republic faced a choice: purity without durability, or compromise securing national survival through institutions, credit authority, coordination, discipline, trust alone. Hamilton promised no fairness, only endurance. In a capital-driven world, survival meant engagement. His gamble reshaped destiny, binding wealth, government, and future power together with an emerging global financial order ahead. Debt transformed America's weakness into leverage. Government bonds became trust instruments, binding creditors to national survival, turning private wealth into public loyalty and reshaping power without armies or force. Funding debts at full value sparked outrage. Speculators profited. Veterans felt betrayed. Yet markets responded positively as securities rose, signaling stability and restoring confidence previously shattered by wartime inflation. Debt unified regions. Financiers, planters, merchants now shared federal success. Government stability meant personal security, aligning ambition with national survival and reducing incentives for rebellion or fragmentation across states. Private ambition merged with public order. Stronger government meant safer investments. Cooperation replaced improvisation as financial discipline stabilized markets, reduced unrest, and encouraged long-term planning over short-term survival. International effects followed. European lenders observed consistency. America borrowed again, trade expanded, diplomacy strengthened, and credibility replaced suspicion within Atlantic financial networks watching reliability closely. Debt no longer meant weakness. Managed obligation produced power without coercion. Confidence became renewable capital, reshaping American economic authority while introducing permanent dependence on trust and institutional discipline. In 1791, institutional ambition took form. The first bank emerged to stabilize currency, manage funds, and expand credit, marking a decisive shift from improvisation to structured financial governance. The bank disciplined money rather than flooding it. Deposits, notes, and regulated loans imposed order, benefiting commerce and making government operations predictable for the first time nationally. Opposition erupted. Critics feared unconstitutional power and elite dominance. Rural Americans distrusted paper finance, seeing banks as distant forces threatening independence and moral simplicity. Supporters argued necessity. The bank improved tax collection, stabilized exchange, supported trade, and connected regional economies into one functioning national system. Finance became professional. Authority replaced chaos. Rules replaced improvisation. Yet the bank's influence unsettled politics, shaping markets and decisions beyond simple accounting. Despite tension, results mattered. Credit expanded, confidence strengthened, and the economy stabilized. The bank proved institutions could serve republics while shaping future conflict and growth. Success bred fear. Many Americans worried financial elites would dominate politics, recalling British aristocracy and seeing centralized money as a threat to hard-won Republican equality. Thomas Jefferson warned banks corrupted virtue. He imagined a farmer republic, not financiers, fearing credit would replace independence with dependency and moral decay. This conflict ran deeper. Was America commercial or agrarian? Could liberty survive credit? Finance became a moral question, not merely economic design. Public debate intensified. Newspapers attacked bankers, pamphlets accused betrayal, and financial policy became a measure of virtue, loyalty, and national direction. Reality favored institutions. Trade expanded, infrastructure demanded capital, and growth required coordination. Fear softened into compromise through limited bank charters and temporary authority. Banking saved the republic yet divided it. America entered a permanent argument over wealth and power, defining who governs, who benefits, and how freedom survives pressure. Alexander Hamilton and Thomas Jefferson stand on opposite sides of a grand chamber, papers and maps scattered. Tension simmers as the nation's future hangs between finance and agrarian independence. Hamilton advocates centralized banking, gesturing to charts showing credit flows and markets. Jefferson counters with farmers and open fields, emphasizing local independence, rural values, and distrust of concentrated power. The banking system becomes the battlefield. Credit versus virtue. Merchants, farmers, and financiers gather, each side anxious, highlighting tension between opportunity and perceived corruption, loyalty to institutions or personal ethics. Parties form around economic identity. Farmers rally with Jefferson, merchants align with Hamilton. Political alignment solidifies as policy decisions feel existential, demonstrating how ideology is shaped directly by economics. Conflict clarifies the nation. Debate forces refinement. Every decision tests the republic's limits. Observers note the permanent nature of this ideological struggle shaping American financial and political culture for generations. The Jefferson-Hamilton divide sets a permanent precedent. Power and money debate continues throughout American history. The ideological fault line is established as a defining element of national identity. Merchants load cargo onto ships at a bustling port, papers and ledgers in hand. Credit now fuels trade, allowing goods to travel farther and faster than ever before in America's history. Roads, canals, and early infrastructure projects rise from farmland to city. Credit makes these improvements possible. Workers, engineers, and investors coordinate, showing how financial trust translates into tangible national development. Banks provide capital for small workshops, artisans, and early factories. Machinery and tools are funded through loans. Economic diversity spreads as rural dependence on agriculture slowly gives way to industrial potential. Urban markets expand rapidly. Labor specialization increases. Credit shortens time and risk, allowing merchants and manufacturers to anticipate demand. Financial systems now accelerate daily economic life across the young republic. Government revenue stabilizes. Taxes become predictable. Spending can be planned. Public finances gain visibility, replacing improvisation. Officials and treasurers coordinate, demonstrating how credit transforms administration and allows organized national development. By 1800, the nation remains modest in power but confident in direction. Credit has unlocked potential, guiding westward expansion, industrialization, and global integration. Wealth is now organized, not merely discovered. Merchants and bankers celebrate growing markets and rising prices. Ledgers and stacks of notes show prosperity, but worried expressions hint at dependence on trust and the fragility of financial confidence. Speculators adjust rapidly to changing prices. Debt expands visibly in ledgers. The scene shows risk emerging alongside prosperity, as rising speculation threatens to destabilize an otherwise confident market. Opponents of the first bank rally in streets. Banners warn against centralized money. Citizens debate passionately. Power now appears concentrated, creating political tension alongside financial growth. Bank officials meet behind closed doors, discussing oversight and limits. Charts, papers, and maps indicate controlled expansion. The scene conveys cautious experimentation as prosperity brings responsibility and scrutiny. Economic centralization raises questions. How much order is safe? How much power is acceptable? Citizens and politicians watch anxiously, reflecting the tension between prosperity and the risk of overreach. Success and awareness coexist. The economy flourishes but remains fragile. Leaders and citizens alike recognize finance requires limits and oversight. Ambivalence shapes the republic, hinting at future reforms and crises. Congress debates fiercely over the first bank's charter. Supporters and opponents clash. Ledger books, maps, and documents fill the chamber, signaling a nation weighing centralized finance against decentralized ideals. Supporters highlight stability, growth, and national credibility. Charts and currency show progress. Their faces mix hope and urgency. The scene emphasizes benefits of central finance amid partisan conflict. Opponents warn of inequality, elite influence, and constitutional overreach. Citizens observe anxiously outside. Signs and pamphlets convey mistrust. Conflict between liberty and centralized power dominates the visual narrative. Congress votes narrowly against renewal. The bank's closure signals pause. Officials pack ledgers, coins, and documents. The chamber feels quiet, solemn, aware of both progress and vulnerability. The economy reacts subtly. Credit tightens, currency fragments, trade slows. Merchants adjust nervously. Streets show everyday life affected. Visual cues convey loss of coordination without central stabilizer. Lessons endure. Citizens and leaders recognize value of structure and balance. The experiment ended, but knowledge persists. Reflection and cautious optimism dominate, hinting at future reforms. The banking experiment of 1790 to 1811 reshaped America. Citizens and officials review ledgers and charts, understanding national credit, finance, and coordination as the foundations of future economic growth and structured prosperity. The Republic learns that institutions can serve liberty. Merchants and planners discuss trade, capital, and credit carefully, showing cautious optimism as early infrastructure, commerce, and coordinated systems begin shaping the economy. Although imperfect, the system fosters growth. Busy docks, marketplaces, and workshops illustrate economic expansion. Citizens observe activity, signaling emerging confidence and understanding that wealth is organized, not accidental. Lessons from success and failure spread. Officials debate, citizens study, and visual charts map credit, capital, and trade. Knowledge grows, guiding future banks, reforms, and crises across generations. Economic power becomes designable. Planners sketch credit systems, trade networks, and industrial projects. Citizens watch attentively. Structure, discipline, and foresight create anticipation of future growth, preparing the Republic for challenges ahead. Reflection completes the story. The nation now understands structure, discipline, and design as tools for liberty. Subscribe to explore how financial crises returned, shaping America's economy, power, and history forever.